Okay, so our world, it's chaotic, it's nonstop, and there's this one idea, this ancient idea, that's become more critical than ever, and that idea is stillness. It's the whole focus of Ryan Holiday's incredible book, Stillness is the Key. So in this explainer, we're going to dig in. We're going to figure out what stillness really is, and maybe more importantly, how you can actually get some.
I mean, check this out. We're talking over 350 years ago, the philosopher Blaise Pascal he completely nailed the big anxiety of our lives today. He said we can't just sit quietly in a room alone. And isn't that true? We are terrified of being quiet. We're junkies for distraction, right? Just endlessly scrolling, watching, reacting. And that feeling, that inability to just be, that's where so many of our problems come from. So, okay, if that's the problem, what's the fix?
All right, so when we ask, what is stillness? Let's get one thing straight right away. We're not talking about becoming a hermit and living in a cave. It's not about doing nothing. And it's definitely not some, vague, new agey concept. No, actually, Ryan Holiday argues it's the exact opposite. It's a powerful, strategic advantage.
Think of it like this. Stillness is your superpower. It's the key, the one that lets you perform at your absolute best, find that moment of clarity when everything else is pure chaos, and actually get the things done that really matter to you. But wait a second. How can one single thing be the key to everything?
Well, let me tell you a story. Picture Abraham Lincoln in the middle of the Civil War. He's got 100 different voices screaming at him, 100 different plans, most of them terrible, but he gets quiet. He studies a map, and he points to this one single fortified town, Vicksburg, and he says, "Vicksburg is the key. The war can never be brought to a close until that key is in our pocket." And you know what? He was absolutely right. Taking Vicksburg unlocked the path to victory. Stillness, that's our Vicksburg. It's the one thing, the key, that gives us access to all this other stuff. Thinking clearly, making those tough calls, managing our emotions, the whole list. So the big question is, how do we get it? Well, Holiday says we have to master 3 different areas of our lives, and we're going to start with the mind.
All right, Section 1, Mastering the Mind. This is the first battleground, and it's right between your ears. It's that constant chatter, the biases we don't even realize we have, those knee-jerk reactions. If we're going to find any stillness at all, we have to start here. We have to learn to command our own thoughts.
Okay, I want you to really try and imagine this. You're JFK. It's October 1962. You wake up one morning and find out the Soviets have planted nuclear missiles just 90 miles off the coast of Florida. The room is electric with panic. Your top advisors, your generals, they're all screaming for one thing: immediate airstrikes. Start the war now. But then listen to what Kennedy says. Look at these words. He's not reacting. He's not panicking. He's asking why. He's trying to get inside his enemy's head.
This timeline, it barely scratches the surface of the pressure cooker he was in. We're talking 13 days where the entire world held its breath, literally on the brink of nuclear war. Everyone in his ear was yelling, "Go, go, go." But Kennedy, he'd read this book about how everyone just sleepwalked into World War I, and it haunted him. So he did the hardest thing imaginable. He slowed it all down. He chose that naval quarantine, notice he didn't even call it a blockade, not to be aggressive, but to buy the one thing nobody had: time. Time to think, for both sides.
So what can we take away from Kennedy's incredible mental stillness in that crisis? Well, it's right here. Be present. Don't just accept things, question your assumptions. And when everyone else is speeding up, you take your time. You slow down. He controlled his own mind, and you could argue he literally saved the world by doing it. But, and this is a big but, a clear mind is only part of the equation. It's not going to do you much good if it's built on a foundation of total inner chaos.
And that brings us right to our second domain, taming the soul. You can call it the soul, the spirit, the heart, whatever word works for you. This is the world of our emotions, our deep down desires, our character. Because look, you can have a mind as sharp as a razor blade, but if your heart is a raging storm, that ship is going down. It's just a matter of time.
This quote from Thich Nhat Hanh just hits it perfectly. On the surface of the ocean, there is stillness, but underneath, there are currents. And that is the perfect intro to the story of Tiger Woods. I mean, for years, this guy was the living embodiment of stillness, right? On the golf course, he was a rock, an unshakable champion, the calmest person in a sport that demands quiet. But under that perfectly still surface, there was a nasty current, and it was pulling him straight to the bottom.
And here it is, laid bare, the 2 tigers. On one side, you have the champion, the guy who was so calm under pressure it was almost inhuman, the guy who won a major tournament on a broken leg. But then, there's the other side, the man. Spiritually, just broken, at the complete mercy of his urges. his life became this tabloid nightmare. He said he felt he deserved to enjoy all the temptations. See, his mind was perfectly disciplined for the game of golf, but his soul was a mess, just pure chaos. And it just goes to show, mental toughness without spiritual health, it's like building a mansion on sand. It's all going to collapse. So, what's the antidote to that kind of hunger?
This quote, wow, it comes from this amazing little story. The author, Joseph Heller, who wrote Catch-22, is at a fancy party thrown by some billionaire. And his friend, the writer Kurt Vonnegut, kind of nudges him and says, "Hey Joe, how does it feel to know that our host here probably made more money today than your masterpiece Catch-22 has made in its entire history?" And Heller's reply is just, it's pure gold. He says, "I've got something he can never have. The knowledge that I've got enough." Wow. That right there, that's the cure. Knowing when you have enough, that's how you tame the hungry soul. Okay, so we've talked about the mind and we've talked about the soul. That brings us to the third and final piece of the puzzle, commanding the body, the domain of the flesh. Because here's the thing we often forget. Our physical habits, our daily routines, the space we live in, that stuff isn't separate from our inner state. It's the literal foundation for it.
And who do we get this quote from? Winston Churchill. I mean, one of the most high-energy, productive people in all of history. And he's saying, hey, if you can lie down, don't sit. If you can sit, don't stand. It sounds kind of lazy, right? But it wasn't laziness. It was his secret weapon. He knew that to keep up his incredible pace, to lead a country through a world war, he had to be ridiculously strategic about his physical energy. He needed a system for rest.
And just look at this routine. It's an absolute masterclass in managing your energy. Working from bed, taking walks, a mandatory 2-hour nap every afternoon. Hobbies like bricklaying and painting, these things weren't him goofing off. They weren't distractions from the work. They were what allowed the work to happen. He was resting different parts of his brain and his body so that he could handle that insane level of stress without completely burning out. But a solid routine is just one piece of commanding the body. The other part, well, it takes a different kind of muscle.
The single most powerful tool you have for commanding your body, for protecting your time, your focus, your energy, is one tiny 2-letter word. A word that, let's be honest, most of us are absolutely terrified to say. That word is no.
Look, saying no is a physical act. It really is. It's a muscle, and you have to train it. Every single time you say no to something that doesn't matter, you're saying a powerful yes to something that does. You're creating space. You're clearing out the clutter so that stillness actually has room to grow. This is what the ancient Taoists called wu-wei. It's not about doing nothing at all. It's about powerful non-action. It's about knowing when to act and when to just don't. It's action that comes from clarity, not just from mindless, reactive busyness.
Okay, so there you have it. The 3 domains: a clear mind, a tranquil soul, and a disciplined body. When you can get those 3 things working together, when you bring them into harmony, you basically build an internal fortress. A fortress of peace that no matter what chaos is swirling around on the outside, it just can't get in.
But what's the point? Why go to all this trouble to find stillness? Is it just so we can feel good? Well, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius gives us the ultimate answer. It's not just for us. The whole point of finding this inner peace is so that we can be better in the world, so we can act with virtue, so we can help people, so we can contribute. To move, as he says, from one unselfish action to the next. That's where the real delight, the real stillness is found.
So in the end, let's be really clear. Stillness isn't about running away from the world. It's about figuring out how to master your place in the world. It's about having that quiet mind in the middle of a screaming crowd, a calm heart when everyone else is panicking, and a rested, ready body so you can do the right thing when it counts. The world, it's always going to be loud, it's always going to be demanding things from you. That's not going to change. The only real question, the one that truly matters, is the one on the screen. Where are you going to find your stillness to meet it?